Alice!" She looked up and saw Mrs. Merriweather's hand held out. "Didn't you hear me? Time to turn in your test." "But No excuses. You've got to start listening, Alice." Mrs. Merriweather snatched up Alice's exam and moved on down the aisle. Though Alice could barely hear their murmurs, she knew the girls right behind her were gossiping about her. She turned and saw their heads bent together, their hands shielding their mouths, muffling giggles.
"Alice can read lips, so don't let her see we're talking about her."
Now some of the boys were laughing too, pointing at her. What was so funny? Alice glanced down. To her horror, she saw that the top button had fallen off her blouse, which was now gaping open. The school bell rang, announcing dismissal. Alice snatched up her book bag and hugged it to her chest as she fled the classroom. She didn't dare look anyone in the eye, just kept walking, head down, tears building in her throat. She dashed into the restroom and locked herself in a stall. As other girls came in and stood laughing, primping in front of the mirrors, Alice hid behind the latched door. She could smell all their different perfumes, could feel the whoosh of air each time the door swung open. Those golden girls, with their brand-new sweater sets. They never lost buttons. They never came to school wearing hand-me-down skirts and shoes with cardboard soles.
"Go away. Everyone, please just go away."
The door finally stopped, whooshing open. Pressed up against the stall door, Alice strained to hear if anyone was still in the room. Peeking out through the crack, she saw no one standing in front of the mirror. Only then did she creep out of the bathroom. The hallway was deserted as well, everyone gone for the day. There was no one to torment her. She walked, shoulders hunched self-protectively, down the long corridor with its battered lockers and wall posters announcing the Halloween dance in 2 weeks. A dance she would certainly not be going to. The humiliation of last week's dance still stung, and would probably always sting. The 2 hours of standing alone against the wall, waiting, hoping a boy would ask her onto the floor. When a boy had at last approached her, it was not to dance. Instead, he'd suddenly doubled over and thrown up on her shoes. No more dances for her. She'd been in this town only 2 months, and already she wished her mother would pack them up and move them again, take them someplace where they could start over, where things would finally be different. Only, they never are. She walked out the school's front entrance, into the autumn sunshine. Bending over her bicycle, she was so intent on opening the lock that she didn't hear the footsteps. Only as his shadow fell across her face did she realize Elijah was standing beside her. "Hello, Alice." She jerked to her feet, sending her bike crashing onto its side. Oh, God, she was an idiot. How could she be so clumsy? "That was a hard exam, wasn't it?" He spoke slowly, distinctly. That was one more thing she liked about Elijah. Unlike the other kids, his voice was always clear, never muddled, and he always let her see his lips.
"He knows my secret," she thought, "yet he still wants to be my friend."
"So, did you finish all the questions?" he asked. She bent down to pick up her bike.
"I knew the answers. I just needed more time."
As she straightened, she saw that his gaze had dropped to her blouse, to the gap left by the missing button. Flushing, she crossed her arms. "I've got a safety pin," he said.
"What?"
He reached in his pocket and pulled out a pin. "I'm always losing buttons myself. It's kind of embarrassing. Here, let me fasten it for you." She held her breath as he reached for her blouse. She could barely suppress her trembling as he slipped his finger beneath the fabric to close the pin.
"Does he feel my heart pounding?" she wondered. "Does he know I'm dizzy from his touch?"
When he stepped back, her breath flew out. She looked down and saw that the gap was now modestly pinned shut. "Better?" he asked.
"Oh, yes."
She paused to compose herself.